are y'all doing today?
Really good. It's
Good.
beautiful. I'm
Good.
so happy the sun's shining.
Goodness.
And this is supposed to be coffee with Mary Cheatham, so I'm drinking coffee throughout this, so forgive
Excellent.
me.
I am too, but Trace, I'm telling you, I kind of got the jitters a little bit. I think I've had way too much caffeine already. It's never stopped me before, so I'm gonna keep right on. I promise to keep drinking coffee just like you, Trace.
I thought you were on a tea kick, Mary Cheatham.
I have been. But you know, pandemic, coffee and red wine getting
You're
me
so
through.
right. Man.
Yeah.
Tea's for the afternoon. Morning time, I still need
That's
coffee.
that's exactly right. That's right. That's right.
Trace, what did you do
I'll switch over.
Trace, what did you do this morning? Anything exceptional?
No, we had a relatively late night watching The Shining last night at my fiance's house. So
Nice.
we were up until all hours watching horror movies. So this morning I didn't get up and get my steps in like I normally do. I came straight to the home office and got a coffee.
Man. So where do you normally walk around whenever you work out outside?
Usually on the beach. If it's low tide, I'll go out on the sand and go for a run. If it's not low tide, I'm not hardcore enough to run through the soft sand, so I'll just run kind of on the streets. I live near the Oceana Pier, so half the time I'll run down towards Fort Macon, the other half the time I'll run towards the circle.
That's awesome. I didn't mean to give away your incognito workout areas, but
I think a lot of people have seen me. I move pretty slow, so it's not I'm easy to spot.
oh man, that's a hoot. All right. Well, it looks like we've got a good group on here. I think we're good to get started if y'all are good to go.
Sure.
Awesome.
Great.
So
Absolutely.
everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us today for our first installment of Coffee with MC. My name is Meg. I'm in the marketing department here with Mary Cheatham and the mayor of Atlantic Beach, Trace Cooper. We're so excited to have you, Trace.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're thrilled. We're thrilled. So Trace, you know, number one, I do want to tell y'all that we started out yesterday having a really good lesson about Trace and his last name, you know, the Cooper versus Cooper ongoing debate. And I feel like a winner because I say Cooper and it sounds like Trace also says Cooper, although I'm sure that you'll accept Cooper as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, in our family, we've always said Cooper, but it's the same thing. So I know when I'm calling people from outside of Eastern North Carolina, I'll say Cooper because I think that's how it's used in the rest of the world. But here
that's right.
we're Coopers.
That's right. You got to make those adjustments. Well, I love that. Okay, so Trace, I think, you know, the biggest thing that we kind of wanted to start with is to kind of get your take on where things stand right now in Atlantic Beach and kind of, you know, as we've gotten pretty far into this thing and kind of where do things stand and what do you see as the path forward?
Well, right now we're, you know, in kind of a holding pattern. And the way I summarize it is that if you don't live in Atlantic Beach or own property in Atlantic Beach or work an essential business in Atlantic Beach, then you really shouldn't be here. That's hard for us to say as a resort community. You know, visitors are our lifeblood, but we can't have them in town right now. So that means our public beach access parking lots are closed, our town park is closed, Fort Macon State Park is closed. There really just isn't anything for visitors to do here now. And we're doing that to limit the number of people in town while still allowing access for locals and the people who have property here.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a very hard decision for you guys to come through. And I know that that's been difficult as you've been working through this, because I do know how much y'all care about making sure that you know, that our visitors and the folks who rely on our visitors are back up and running as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that being in a beach town that has helped with this is that, you know, we do disasters more often than we'd like to. You know, we do hurricanes every couple of years.
Right.
And our staff, I mean, you know, at all the towns of Carter County and the county itself, they're just professionals when it comes to emergency management. But there's a big difference with this one is that hurricanes are usually come and go in a few days and you're worried about manage things, you know, for that short period of time. Doing it over the course of a month or more, it's been a real challenge. I think it's easily been the hardest thing that I've had to deal with. And you know, I've been in office now for I think 12 years. And it's been a real challenge getting that balance between keeping people safe and, you know, trying to keep our economy moving as best we can. I don't think that, you know, I think we've made some some good decisions. We made some bad decisions, and I think we've corrected our bad ones pretty quickly. I know that all of us in local government are, first and foremost, are keeping people safe.
Yeah.
So if we end up erring on that side when this is all over, we'll own that and be fine with it. But it's been a challenge.
I think that's so well said. And I think, one of the things that you and I talked about, or that I know I said to you recently, was just, I really like the fact, I feel like that y'all have been really transparent. I feel like that on the way that you've handled your messaging, you've done some Facebook Live messaging. And I know, I just think it's made it very approachable and understandable to relate to the difficulty that you guys have had making these decisions. And that the bottom line is that it comes down to safety. And I know that you guys also have an awesome Q&A on your Facebook page. So, if you guys do kind of want more information on that, then please go to the Town of Atlantic Beach Facebook page. They do a great job with it, and they do have a really good Q&A on there that I think will help. So let's talk, Trace, about, as we move out of this, I mean, are you thinking that if all goes well, we're going to have a relatively normal summer season in Atlantic Beach?
Well, I think everyone keeps saying there'll be a new normal, and I agree with that. We're going to keep a close eye on what the state does as far as lifting the stay-at-home orders and travel bans and things like that. But if we continue to see some progress and flattening the curve, then I think some of those bans will start getting lifted. One of the ways that the governor explained this in one of his press conferences was it's not going to be a light switch where you go from off to on. It's going to be a dimmer switch where you kind of ramp it up. So I think as we progress through the summer, we'll get back closer to normal. Big concerts and mass gatherings, those probably aren't going to happen this summer. But I'd like to think that once we, in the coming weeks, we can get back to where we can have families vacation in Atlantic Beach, and most of our businesses getting back open, maybe with reduced capacity, but we're definitely going to be moving in that direction.
Heading in that direction. So, and I know that COVID-19 and all this is probably the biggest thing on people's minds, but I do want to move to kind of the future once we're past that. But before we do that, the only other thing I want to ask you that I'm curious about, I know Meg and our team, we talk a lot about that there have been some positives that have come, from all of this. And I want to be really sensitive and clear that I think that's different for every family, because there are some families who are really struggling to make ends meet right now. And I think that for us to talk about spending more family time together, can seem insensitive, and so I want to be clear, that there are people that are having a really hard time. And I know that there are people that are rising to the occasion to help them. But what are the things that you've seen specifically in Atlantic Beach that you think are kind of some silver linings or some positives, however you want to phrase that?
Yeah, I think it tends to be kind of little things that we see. There are more people. We talked earlier about exercise. There are more people out on the streets and the beaches of Atlantic Beach exercising than there normally are this time of year. And I don't think that's because there are more people in town. I think it's that, people are using this as a chance to kind of work on themselves a little bit and get in better shape. Take online classes, do other things to kind of, just to better themselves. And I think a lot of people are having some quality time connecting either with the family that they're with, or through platforms like video conferencing. I know I've started talking to some college friends that, real conversations, not just a happy birthday text every now and then. And that's been really rewarding. But Mary Cheatham, I think you're absolutely right. It's not the same for everybody. And I think that, for those who have the luxury of using this time to kind of work on themselves, I encourage them to keep their community in mind. Some of the food banks in Carter County need a lot of help. And you can find that information on different government websites, but those guys are looking for donations of canned goods or money. There are a lot of families that this is a real struggle for. And so if you're in a position to help, our community has always done that throughout hurricanes, and people are doing that throughout this coronavirus crisis as well. And I encourage everyone to keep it up.
I think that's awesome. I think that's so good. And I know particularly in Atlantic Beach, we've already touched on this, so much of, you know, so many families that live in Atlantic Beach and work in Atlantic Beach are reliant upon the tourist industry and folks eating out and, you know, doing all those things that just aren't really happening right now. I've been so impressed with, you know, some of the relief efforts to raise money for folks specifically in that industry, you know, in those industries, you know, specifically, I think the food industry and the restaurant industry, because that's a big one for AB. And so I think, Meg, I know, can we link through, I know there are some different places, you know, that where you can make donations to help support some of those folks. I know that Beaufort Wine and Food had one specifically that was related to restaurant workers, and then also maybe to the folks who were collecting donations for, you know, the food that you were mentioning earlier, Trace. I think that'd be a great thing too.
Absolutely. We can link that down in the comments after we wrap up here. I think that's great.
Great, good. That's a great thing to get kids involved in too, a food drive. I mean, you know, that's a great thing to get, you know, that's awesome. That's wonderful. So Trace, I think as we're moving on past the COVID-19 pandemic and everything that relates to that and looking towards the future in Atlantic Beach, you know, what are kind of some things that you're excited about as far as what's up next?
Well, you know, something that has been a real focus for us over the past couple of years, although it keeps getting interrupted by natural disasters and pandemics. But, you know, the appearance of the town of Atlantic Beach is something that's a key focus area for our town council and staff. And by that, I mean, not our natural environment. I think our beaches and our marshes and our sound, I think our natural environment is as beautiful as anywhere in the world. But over here in Atlantic Beach, some of our built environment pales a little bit in comparison to that. So we put together a town appearance committee a couple of years ago that was manned by, you know, I think we probably had 6 or 8 people from full-time residents and second homeowners, including some pretty heavyweights in the design world that have second homes in Atlantic Beach. And this group, you know, came up with some great ideas to pass on to our town staff to kind of move forward and improve, you know, some of the, you know, the appearance of our built environment, and everything from landscaping ideas to stricter enforcement of some of our building and property maintenance codes to big things like, you know, a master plan for the Atlantic Beach Causeway, which is kind of our gateway into town. And so
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, we've been working on that. Again, we've had a couple interruptions, but that remains a priority for us in Atlantic Beach.
I think that's so awesome. And I know you're personally a big fan of modern architecture, right?
Yeah, that's, you know, that's kind of my, you know, just my preferred style for architecture is more modern. And, you know, the town is working on a new public safety building that will go kind of where our existing fire station, police station are. And we're working with some amazing architects on that. And through the process, you know, we were trying to think through kind of what is the, you know, Atlantic Beach style of architecture, or is there one? And I don't know that we have a real distinct style, but, you know, certainly when I've been out walking and running through the streets, you get a chance to, especially at my pace, look at these things really slowly as you go by. And, you know, you realize that there's a lot of really cool mid-century modern architecture in Atlantic Beach already that we can draw from. And there certainly are some of the newer houses that have gone more modern in style, but done so in kind of a coastal way. And I just, that's not happening through any urging of the town. It's just people and their architects coming up with some great designs.
Yeah.
And I think in general, the market kind of is moving to a little more modern. You know, Mary Cheatham, what do you guys see on, I mean, when you're talking to buyers, what are they looking for?
God, you know, that's such a good question. I mean, I think that you're right. I think just like in Atlantic Beach, you see, you know, you see all different, you certainly see like the classic cottage, I think is always going to be popular. I mean, it's just always going to be popular. But I think that inside we're seeing, even when it has more of a classic facade, you're seeing more of a modern interior. So, you know, way more of the open floor plan. Anybody who's building now, I think you're seeing that a ton. And I just think that's always that classic cottage look. But I do certainly see a lot more of a modern flair in the things that are going up now. And I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting both from a rehab perspective and from a new build perspective.
Yep. And I think from a marketing perspective too, both of those options are so fun to do social media posts for and to do postcards for and stuff like that. So both that classic cottage and the modern look, and even if they're combined, I love marketing that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the building that we're working on for the town, and this is, we're urging people to kind of up their design game. We thought the town needed to lead the charge on that. It's going to be a pretty modern structure and its kind of shape, but we're really trying to bring in cottage elements through different materials, and so it's, you look at it, it's not going to look like a beach cottage. I mean, we've got to park 4 fire trucks inside it, so you can't do that in a cottage. Cottages by definition are kind of cozy.
Yeah.
But so I think our architects have done a great job of building or designing what's going to be a relatively big building, but making it in a modern style that reflects kind of a cottagey neighborhood that it sits in. And I think that's
I love that.
the challenge.
That's awesome though. I can't wait to see it. When do you guys plan to release the elevations or anything for that?
Yeah, that we're kind of trying to wrap that up now over the course of the next month or so. So there have been some early sketches out there, but we're working on the materials and things now, and hopefully in the next month or two we'll be sending out some.
That's
some
exciting.
Awesome.
That's something good to look forward to. That's really exciting. Well, good. Well, so Meg, let's see. I know. Do you want to wrap us up with our favorite question?
Sure. So Trace, we're gonna hound you really quick, but this is a question that Mary Cheatham and I want to ask everyone who joins us on Coffee with MC. And it's actually from a podcast that we both listen to, Jen Hatmaker's podcast. Not sure if you've heard of her, but the question can be answered as specific, as broad, as deep, or as fun as you want. And
it's a pretty serious lead up here.
Yep.
It is. Get ready. Get ready.
So our final question for you, Trace, is what is saving your life right now?
Well, on the government side of things and sort of my, elected role, I think that saving my life is the same people that always save my life, and that's our staff. And any level of government, the professionals who run things day to day are the real heroes. The elected officials we get to do things like this, but I always tell my town manager, he does all the work, I take all the credit. So professionally, as always, those guys are saving. I don't know if they're saving my life, but they're saving my. Never mind. But,
your hat. They're saving your hat.
But personally, and this kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier about having some time to get out of your day-to-day routine. I've got 3 soon-to-be stepdaughters. My fiance Jenny and I are getting married in September, and she's got 3 girls who don't live here. They're in college and working and wrapping up high school in other parts of the state, but they've been down here, really for the most of the past month. And I've certainly got to know them over the past, 5 years. We take a lot of trips together and do holidays together, and we know each other well, but we haven't really had day-to-day time outside of real kind of time together, outside of holiday time together. And so I talked earlier about our horror movie marathon last night, and it's just been awesome to be able to kind of be there and live as a family unit with these guys that I only get to see on holidays and other times. So that's been something really good to look forward at the end of the days.
That's really awesome. And I just love how this time it's definitely scary and uncertain, but there are little pieces of light that we can pull from. And I think spending time with family and being really grateful for the folks that you work with and everything is it's so special. And it's something that I've also really recognized during this time. So I love hearing that from you, Trace. That's cool.
Trace, you nailed it. I mean, it was a big lead in. That was a big question. And that was awesome.
Question.
I love both of those.
Absolutely.
That was really good. Thank you.
Yes, Trace, thank you so much for being
us.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us today. I know you're busy and got a lot on your plate, so we really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Hang in there. We're gonna get through this.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Have a
great.
good day.
Thanks, Trace.
All right, Mary Cheatham. Woo!
I know that was good. I loved having Trace.
That was good. And before we sign off, I want to ask you the same question. So what is saving your life today, Mary Cheatham?
Well, it's funny. I'm telling you now, I'm kind of ashamed with kind of what I thought of when you when you first asked the question. I mean, I was gonna say the nut butters from Big Spoon Roasters.
Mary Cheatham, those are so good. They
I'm
are so
crazy
good.
about them. I'm crazy about them. They have them at Friendly Market. I'm currently having the toasted coconut one, which I just love.
Ooh.
There's something that makes me so excited about getting up in the morning and hopefully getting a workout in, and then having my coffee and my nut butter. I don't know, but I mean, you know, I will say, of course, golly, I mean, you know, our team and you know, having my family here, I mean, those things as well. I just also red wine. All those things are really saving my life. How about you, Meg? What's yours?
Wow. So one thing that I've been doing a lot throughout this quarantine, my days have been running together a lot. So I haven't been really intentional about remembering the day before or remembering what I did the day before. So something I've been doing, I've been making a grateful list of good things. It might sound so cheesy, but in my planner,
I love that.
I don't use the month layout. I only use my daily layout.
Right.
So on the month layout, I have been writing one thing every day that I've been grateful for, or that's made my day. So if anyone has an extra calendar laying around or anything like that, that's really been something that I've loved to do early in the morning to start my day off really, really special. So that's my thing.
I think that's so awesome. No, you are such like a little wise one. I mean, I love that. I mean, of course, yours is like deep and meaningful, and mine is.
Can you tell that to my parents?
I love that. I love that. These are our personalities shining through right here.
Goodness. All right. Well, thank you for hopping on today, Friday. So in 2 days at this same time, do you want to tell us who our guest is?
I am so excited about this because our guest is going to be Gerhard Schnibben at Promised Land Market. And so we have taken a poll on Facebook of some favorite snacks, and some of them are hilarious. It's just a list of quarantine snacks that people are really digging right now. And we're going to ask Gerhard to do some wine pairings for us. And we've asked him to do kind of some different price points, you know, so that you can go in there and pick up some supplies and know exactly what's going to taste the best with your quarantine snacks. And it's just in time for the weekend. So I love that too.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I got a sneak peek of the list, and there are some Cheez-Its on there, some Oreos. I'm really excited.
I'm excited too. They are speaking my language.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Same. All right. Well, Mary Cheatham, good. I'll see you on here at 9:30 on Friday. Sound good?
That sounds great. Thanks, Meg.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.